Hi, my name is Maggie Sullivan, and I'm a physiotherapy resident here at S.M.A.R.T Physiotherapy. And today we're going to take a look at getting ready to golf, some tips to keep you on the course this summer. So just a little about me before we get started. I graduated with a bachelor in kinesiology in 2015 from Memorial University. I'm now a physiotherapy resident. I graduated with a physiotherapy degree, a master's in physiotherapy from DAL in 2020. My focus now is helping individuals achieve their goals and living to their full potential. And part of that is making sure that people can keep doing the activities they love. And for many people, golf is one of those activities that they love to do. I enjoy golfing myself. I golf a lot with my parents when I'm home, but I definitely do it more for the exercise and for the company rather than the score. I am by no means an expert golfer, so we won't be looking at improving your technique or improving your score tonight, but more tips and a few exercises to make sure that you're not putting yourself at risk for injury and making sure that you can keep golfing. So planned takeaways is first a better understanding of common golf injuries and also a few strategies to help reduce your risk of these injuries while you're golfing. We're also going to look at an acronym called S.M.A.R.T Golfing that the Canadian Physiotherapy Association has released. So we're going to look into that and why I feel it's important. And then we're going to look at the other takeaway is also for you to have an outline for a first tee warm up that you can do during your game, and also a few strength and conditioning exercises that you can do off the course to maintain your fitness. So the planned program for today is first, we're going to look at the benefits of golf, then some common golfing injuries, as I said before, look into the importance of a warm up, and then that acronym, that S.M.A.R.T Golfing that I mentioned. We're then going to look at the first tee warm up, and then I'm going to do an exercise demonstration of the first tee warm up and the strength and conditioning exercises. So just a quote here, and it's, if you don't take time for your wellness, you'll be forced to take time for your illness. And in a way, this does apply to what we're looking at tonight, because even though golf in itself is for your wellness, as you're playing the game, it can lead to injury if you're not doing it correctly. So taking the time now to make sure that you're warming up and doing your swing correctly can make sure that you're not causing injuries down the road. So making sure that you don't have to take time off from your golf game to focus on an injury. So some of the benefits of golf, it's fairly accessible and it's a social physical activity. So oftentimes people don't enjoy doing exercise on their own, but one of the benefits of golf is it can be quite social while also being active. And it utilizes more muscles than just walking on its own, because you think of you're swinging, you're picking up the ball, you're carrying your bag. There's quite a few movements and muscles that you use during golf that you don't with just walking. And it also helps gain and maintain flexibility and range of motion. So when we look at what you need for golf, what's required for golf, you do need to have a level of fitness. And that also depends if you're walking or if you're using a cart. But there's also quite a bit of mobility and balance that's needed for golf. Because you think of the amount of time that you have to stand on one leg or reach down and get the ball, and also think of the range of motion that's needed for golf. We think of it as a leisure sport, but there's actually quite a bit that we need to be able to golf. So common golfing injuries that can occur. So one study that I saw found that 57 to 62% of amateur golfers experience an injury during their career or their playing time. And that's quite a high percent. This study also found that 89% of professional golfers also experience an injury during their career. So it's actually quite a high level of injury for a sport. Also, the most common injury that was found in the study was low back pain and elbow pain or wrist pain. So the three most common that we're going to look at is golfer's elbow. So that's pain on the inside of the elbow, and it's caused by having too tight of grip on your club or a repetitive use. So taking quite a few swings without doing any warm up. Low, mid, and upper back pain is also very common, and that's spinal pain due to repeated rotation. So this can be caused by an insufficient warm-up or reliance on your shoulders more so than your hips in your swing. You can also be over or under rotating when you're swinging through. That can also cause back pain, or also fatigue due to a forward hinged position. So the third most common pain while golfing is hip or knee pain, and that's specifically joint pain. This pain may be due to underlying osteoarthritis, but it could also be an increase of volume of activity versus your preseason. So if you start golfing quite a bit and you didn't have a warm up or a lead up to that, it can cause joint pain, hip, and specifically hip or knee pain. Also, increased rotational forces while you swing can cause pain on the hip and the knee, and increased weight shifting in your swing can also put you at a greater risk for hip and knee pain while you're golfing. So these are just things to consider in your swing, and just to pay attention if you are having pain in your elbow, seeing if you are gripping your club too tightly, or if you're doing repeated swings without any warm up. That's something to look at. So coming off the injury side, we're looking at the importance of a warm up. So golf is a full body exercise with repeated quick and dynamic movements. So without a warm up, we're at a much higher risk of injury. You think if you take a cold muscle and then try to quickly move that, it's at a higher risk to have a strain or a pull. So warming up can also allow for faster, more efficient muscle contractions, because warming up can increase the blood flow to our muscles before we start the activity we want to do. It can also reduce muscle strain, injury, and fatigue. So as I mentioned before, we're going to look at S.M.A.R.T Golfing. So this is an acronym that was released by the Canadian Physiotherapy Association to look at some of the things that you should try to remember while you're golfing. So S.M.A.R.T stands for stretch, move, add it up, reduce strain, and the T, because it's from the Physio Association, is talk to a physiotherapist. So stretching, as I've kind of alluded to before, you should be stretching before, during, and after your game. This helps you move more easily, keeps your muscles flexible and relaxed, and your joints mobile. It also relieves tension and strain. You should be doing about a 10-minute warm-up before you start. And this should also include stretching and some movement, some kind of cardio to get your heart going. Also, if you're golfing and you feel pain or stiffness during your game, take a break and stretch at that point to make sure that that pain or that stiffness doesn't increase later. So later on, we are going to look at a first tee stretch program. And I've kind of created this stretching program that you can do before you begin your game. So the M stands for move, and they say move today for tomorrow. So you want to get moving, keep moving, and stay moving. One of the issues with golf is that it's a seasonal sport. So we're doing it all throughout the summer quite a bit, but then we just stop. So we want to make sure that we're doing other activities while we're not golfing. So one way to increase your movement during your game is leaving the golf cart and walking the course if you can. This will help maintain and improve heart health and your overall fitness. Another good thing to do is rehearse your swing before actually hitting the ball. So this helps with the warm-up, but it also helps to practice on the specific terrain, and it will also help improve mobility and technique. So another thing is trying not to stop when the winter hits. So there with golf in Canada, it's hard because it's only in the summertime and we lose everything that we gained throughout the winter time. So practicing your swing at home in the winter time, or even if you can go to a indoor facility, can help you move year round. So the A stands for added up. So an hour is power. So with this, they want you to add up all your activity and add it all up to equal 60 minutes of movement a day. So you think of how long a golf game takes, not that you're going to be moving the whole time, but think of how much movement you can get just from your golf game. Another thing to think of is pace yourself. So begin the season slowly if you haven't been active or haven't been golfing in the winter. So plan your golf games, spread out your golf games throughout the week so you're not getting that repeated motion over and over and over again. With pacing yourself, sometimes it's good to start with 9 holes rather than 18 holes for the first few games of golf. And the other point is trying to make stretching part of your daily routine to make sure you maintain that flexibility, especially if it's in the wintertime or if you have parts of the summer that you're not golfing. It's still good to do that stretching so you keep that flexibility and that range of motion that you get from golfing. So the R stands for reduce strain. With the repeated and dynamic movement of golf, it can put a lot of strain on our bodies. So we want to look at ways that we can reduce some of the strain. One of them is using equipment that works for your skill level and your body type. So my dad, for example, he's 6'5", and he was using just regular clubs and getting a lot of back pain because they weren't created for him. He had the opportunity to have clubs made for him that were right for him, and he had no more back pain with his swing. So not that everyone needs to have clubs made for them, but often when you're looking for clubs, test your swing out and look into it to make sure that you have the right club for your skill level and your body type. Another thing is when you carry your bag, try to carry it over both shoulders and walk upright. But if you have a one shoulder bag, try not always to put it on one side. So switch your shoulders as you go. If you're using a push cart, try to push that cart rather than wheel it. It's going to put less strain on your arms. Another thing is to hold the clubs in a loose, comfortable grip. So try not to grip those clubs super tight, but relax your grip a little bit. Another thing that's going to help reduce strain is the lifting. When you're going down to get your ball, make sure you're using your legs and not bending with your back, keeping your back nice and straight. And the picture that I have there is one way that you can reach down to get your ball out of the hole. So making sure that your back stays nice and straight, you can use your club for a little bit of balance and reaching down to get that ball out of the hole. And another thing during the game to reduce strain is taking breaks, making sure that you're changing positions and resting your back, stretching if you need to, especially if you are carrying your bag, take breaks and rest your back while you're playing. So the T, as I mentioned before, stands to talk to a physiotherapist. So we can help increase your mobility, relieve pain, build strength, improve balance, and also cardiovascular function. And we mainly treat injuries, but we can also help prevent injuries as well. So if you come in beforehand, we can build a program that's specific for you to try and prevent the onset of pain and injury and keep you on the course. And the exercises that we're going to look at today are a great start, but it's always better to have an individual program tailored specifically for you. So now we're getting into the first tee warm-up. I'm calling this. So this is the warm-up plan that I have. So before you do the stretches, because as I mentioned, we don't want to stretch a cold muscle. You want to make sure that you're getting your heart rate up. So there's different ways to do that. If there's stairs at the club, even try doing a few flights of the stairs, or even walking or jogging around the parking lot. And if you don't have room, just jog or walk on the spot for a few minutes, just trying to get your heart rate up and get that blood flowing. So what I'm going to do is go through these exercises and then I will demonstrate them. So the first one is a hamstring stretch. And for all of these exercises, you can use your club, just making sure that you're not putting too much weight through the club, so it's more to balance. If you do need an extra support, you can always use the wall or a sturdy chair, something a bit more sturdy, but I'm going to demonstrate it with a club today. So the first one is the hamstring stretch, making sure that you're straightening that leg, keeping that knee straight, and you're going to feel it in the back of your leg. And the next one is a quad stretch. So after that, we also have a nice groin stretch. Again, all of these using the club, and a hip flexor stretch. So those are all for the lower body. The next ones are for the upper body that you're going to do across, bring your arm across your body and stretch, and you're going to do that on both sides. And then we're also going to give the forearm a stretch as well. So making sure that you're getting both sides of the forearm. The last two in our warm-up are trunk rotation, and I am going to demonstrate it with the club, but if you find that that's causing too much pain on your shoulders, you can also just cross your arms and do that one. And then we also have the shoulder raise with the golf club. All right, so I'm going to stop my share for a second here so we can show the exercises. And I'm going to grab the club. All righty, so the first one we're going to do is the hamstring stretch, making sure you can put your hand on your leg if you need, putting a little bit of weight through the club, but not a lot, keeping that leg straight and heel down, and then keeping the back nice and tall, you're going to lean forward. So the next one is for the quads. So again, using the club just for balance, you're going to bring that leg up, feeling a nice gentle stretch in the front of your leg. If this is too much of a stretch, you can also use a chair and rest your leg on the chair. The next one that we're going to do is the groin stretch. So again, using your club as support, bending one knee and leaning to the side of the bent knee. You're going to be stretching the leg that is straight. That's it there. Good. The next one is a hip flexor stretch. So in a lunge position, the back leg is going to be slightly bent with the heel up, and then staying nice and tall, you're going to lean forward like that. Good. So moving to the upper body, we have the cross arm stretch, like that. And just making sure that you're not getting any pain in the front of the arm. If you are, just bring the arm down a little bit. And you should be feeling a good stretch in the back of the shoulder here. Good. And the last one is the forearm stretch. So making sure that you do it both ways when you do it, and on both sides. Good. So the last two exercises I'm going to show for the warm-up are the shoulder raises, like so. Good. Taking your time with these, going nice and slow and just going as high as you can, making sure that the shoulders aren't hunching up. The last one is the trunk rotation. So I'm putting my club behind me, but if you find that's uncomfortable for your arms, you can always just cross your arms across your chest. So your feet are staying planted and you're just going as far as you comfortably can. So we're not forcing this one and holding this one only for a few seconds, like so. Good. So with all those exercises, again, they're a warm up and stretches. So for the first few, you're going to do 3 times on each side, holding for 20 seconds. For the last 2 exercises, you're not going to hold as much as you get movement. So it's just going to be very gentle, up and down, and only holding for a few seconds at the top. Same with the trunk rotation one. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So those are the first tee warm-up. So the ones that you should do before you're golfing. Now we're going to look at a few exercises that you can do off the course to help build strength and keep your conditioning. So the first one I talked about already when I was talking about picking up your ball from the hole. So this is a single leg hip hinge using your club. The second one is heel raises. And then the next 2, one is a ball squeeze. So we're looking more at our arm, our hand and our wrist. And then the last one being a plank. It's great full body exercise, great for the core, but also great for the arms. So now I'm going to show those exercises. So you're going to be holding the club and picturing as if you want to pick the ball up from the hole. So standing on one leg, and again, your club is just for balance. You shouldn't be putting a lot of weight through it. You're going to reach forward toward the ground, keeping your back nice and tall and your leg nice and straight. So your body should be in one line from head to toe. And then you can bend the knee to reach for the ground as if you're going to pick up. When you're doing this at home, though, you can just reach for the ground and hold for 5 seconds. The next one is the heel raise. So you want something to hang on to for this one because it's a strengthening exercise and not a balance exercise. So having something to hang on to in front of you, coming up onto your heels, holding for 3 seconds, and coming down, and really controlling that movement on the way down. Good. And then the ball squeeze, you want to make sure you have a ball that has a little give to it. So a tennis ball won't do, but if you have a ball that has a little give, you can squeeze, hold for 3 seconds, and relax. And just doing that repeatedly, it's going to help with your grip, and you want to do on both sides. Good. The very last exercise is the plank. So coming down onto the ground, and you can either do from your knees if you need, or from your toes, lifting up and tightening, and trying to hold for about 15 seconds to start. Good, so that's all the exercises that I had for the end of the presentation. So the takeaways from today is to remember that S.M.A.R.T Golfing acronym. Try to remember some of those tips and tricks to make sure that you can keep playing the game that you love. Also to remember the importance of a good warm-up and maintaining mobility and flexibility after the golf season is done. So trying to think of activities, whether it's golfing indoors or a different activity, to make sure you maintain that flexibility and mobility after the season's done. So you have the power to reduce your risk of injury by implementing some of these simple strategies now. So especially the warm-up, if you can implement the warm-up before your golf game, it's going to greatly reduce your risk of injury from golf. I also want you to take away a plan for your first tee warm up and a few exercises that you can do off the course when you're not golfing. So just a little bit on how we can help you. If you have any questions, you can always book a Fit for Life physio assessment with one of our one of our physiotherapists. We also have our Club Z, which has online classes, and we also have online live or now a library of classes that can help build your strength and stability, making sure you can keep doing the activities you love, especially golf. So ways to stay connected with us, we're at zoomershealth.ca, and we're also on Facebook and YouTube, and always be watching our website and our Facebook page for special events such as these. So the easiest way to manage an injury is to not have one at all. So that's something that Laura says, but a lot of these things that we looked at today are trying to prevent an injury and keep you on the course. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you soon. Bye.